Hello, I'm Bez. I'm in Bangkok and I'm going to have a bit of a blather. I'm going to talk about um, this survey which was shared in a Discord, and I felt like I should help out and answer. And the question that I'm answering is why are you ask pardon me, I've just woken up. But why are you asking me this question? And for that matter, why are you asking me this question? And why are you asking me this question? I mean, so there's a few things. Like, obviously, with a survey like this, which is very emotional based, and it's just customer surveys, um, why should I fill it in? Fundamentally, it's taking time, and maybe it allows me to share my interests with the world, which is normally what happens when I just answer a general thing on a Twitter poll or a Facebook thread. I enjoy that because I'm interacting with everyone, not just you specifically. With a Google form, it feels like I'm sending my information just for you and you're locking it away. And there's a lot of things that you could do to make it more enticing. For example, if you said, oh, I'm going to share all this data anonymously with people, and that like Cardboard Edison do that. Cardboard Edison ask me a lot of questions, but I'm always happy to answer them because they're going to make an infographic for the benefit of board game designers. So Cardboard Edison, I applaud you and other people who genuinely use that data for benefit. Does that make sense? Um, Now, looking at these questions, it's the first question is what's my first name? Like, why do I have to answer that? Why do you need my first name for everything else to be useful? This is basically market survey, but what does my first name tell you? Similarly, I don't want to tell you my age. I don't like telling anyone that. I guess I could put 19, but then we know that I'm probably not 19. If you can see me, like, I might not be 19. I'm probably not 199 either. I mean, that's more obviously a lie. But the point is that there should always be an option for prefer not to answer. I mean, these are personal things. Some people don't want to talk about their age. Some people don't want to talk about their religion. Um, if I said, and so this is the reason my age why I'm not going to answer the survey because I can either lie and but you've already told me that you need this for some reason, and so I'm thinking, why the heck bother anyway? What are my hobbies? Like that would be an easy thing. It's cycling, sometimes painting, listening to music, making music, board games. What's my idea of a good time? How's that different? I guess a good time is maybe connecting with people, whether socially or with oneself. What's my guilty pleasure? I don't have any guilty pleasures. I embrace all my pleasures, and sometimes I, yeah, I engage in all sorts of legal activities. I don't drink very much. I don't smoke tobacco, but I do other things. I engage in. Actually, I don't drink coffee that much, but I do have lots of sugar. To be fair, um, I mean, I never add the added sugar in Thailand. They always have, well, not always, but the four standard containers are sugar, pickled chili, dried chili, and maybe fish water. Um, Namplas, they call it. And the pickled chili is my favorite, but the sugar, I've never had that because it just seems excessive. But yeah, guilty pleasure. No, I think that guilt is an unhealthy human emotion. So frankly, I don't engage in guilt. Do I have any pet peeves or something that annoys me? Sure, lots of things. Um, I get annoyed by uncertainty. That's one of the things that brings me towards board games. I get annoyed by people changing plans. Again, like with board games, you've got the rules, and then it's like, this is the rules. And that's something I really like, because that gives you uncertainty. Does that kind of make some sense? Do I have any favorite tabletop games? Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, Go is my number one. It may be two-player only, it may be completely abstract. I don't think there's that many games that I can honestly say look more beautiful than Go, than a well-made Go board. Um, and yeah, then I would also say Root. Yeah. Hello, Slivers. I hope you're generally well. And yeah, what are you up to? Is it EDT? Is it like 8:25 over there? Yeah. Anyway, how often do I get to play tabletop games? I mean, this is a question that should be the easiest to answer. But then again, the last time I got to play tabletop games was on Sunday, and I only played one game with someone because I was showing them how something works, because they're working with me on a project. I mean, I've not played many recently at all. I don't have currently regular groups that I go to. So, I mean, let's see. And apparently Slivers is in CST, so it's 7:25 p.m., I guess. Super close, nicely done. Thank you. I have the knowledge of, you know what I mean? I've got some knowledge of stuff. Anyway, yeah, how often do I get to play tabletop games? I might say, okay, on average, 2 or 3 times a week. Am I familiar? Yes. I think I'm a super backer. What must your tabletop game have for you to enjoy playing? It's okay, that's a really big question, and I've talked about it for several hours. Again, this is a really big question. You're asking a lot of people, and wow, what do you think a tabletop game needs to have? Stretching time, stretching time. I'm going back and front and I'm making a rhyme. Stretching time. Okay, back to the point is, for me, board games are about, I think I've said this, agency, or at least a feeling of agency. I believe that Snakes and Ladders is a board game, and for someone who believes it has a sense of agency, I believe that, in my opinion, it's not a board game, but for a child, it could be a board game for them, because it's more about what you perceive. I believe that perception is almost more important than reality, if that makes sense. And so I believe that it's a sense of agency. I don't believe that you actually need to have impactful choices. I just believe that you need to have this feeling that they are impactful. And with Snakes and Ladders or Candyland, at some point you realize, wow, it's all, well, Snakes and Ladders, it's not predetermined. With Candyland, it is literally predetermined. You're just flipping the top card of the deck. And it's almost like an exercise in futility. And I'm sure that with Candyland, I would have gotten bored even faster, but it's a sedate activity. You don't have to, and there's enough of a feeling of agency for the target audience, which is people who are maybe still learning how the game works. And then at the point that you realize, wait a minute, this is all predetermined, then for you, maybe it stops being a game, but it is still a game for those other people, and don't take it away from them. So it's a feeling of agency, but then for me, that means that I'm better than the average population member at analyzing games. I think that for me, I want the results of my game to be more about my choices than the luck of the draw or the roll of any dice. If a game has more luck than that, I start to feel out of control. It takes away what I like about board games. It takes away that feeling of this is what it's all about, that the certainty, the understanding that, do you get what I mean? So yeah, the feeling of agency. I think there has to be some surprise and some uncertainty, and that can be supplied by opponents. And Then, yeah, it's been a long time since I defined a game. What else is there? Feeling of agents, yeah, awareness of rules. Like the rules need to be clear. So I, it has to have a good rule book. That's the key thing. And in in a way, like the rule book is sort of an artifact. It's not, you could argue that it's not part of this metaphysical game, because if you throw away the rule book, you've kind of, and you still know the rules, you've still kind of got the game, right? I mean, if you have a deck of cards, you could say, oh, let's play hearts or spades, even though you don't have a physical rule book. But the rules have to be clear in someone's mind, and they have to be able to do the job of teaching them without ambiguity, and that's important to me. If there's ambiguity in the game, that makes it slightly worse, and it might be inevitable in a party game like Jungle Speed or Yogi, formerly known as In a Bind. I mean, right, palm facing down. I mean, is this facing down? Yes, it clearly is. Is this facing down? I would say yes. I would say like anything up to here is facing down, and like here that's not facing down. That's like literally just as much up. Like basically, I would almost say like I would be very liberal with what facing down means, but that's not defined in the rules. And that is a point of uncertainty. And all else being equal, I can understand how a point of uncertainty like that makes a game worse. But creations are all about balance. So I don't think there's a certain level of certainty, of clarity that you need in order to make a game good, but it needs to be as clear as possible. Like in a game about physical movement or real time shouting and running around, of course, there's going to be more complications. People could literally crash into one another, and you're going to have like people possibly on wheelchairs or people who are otherwise mobility impaired, and like there's all these side rules because humans are messy creatures, and the more you interact with the physical world, the dexterity and the literally moving around, the more the game's going to get into that place where you can't have exact clarity. But then we get into the abstract strategy games, and I think this is part of why I like Go, and I quite enjoy perfect information games like photosynthesis, because there is no ambiguity. There's even there are some unwritten rules. There's the rule of how long can you spend on your turn without it being impolite. How, but I want clarity from the rules. I want the rules to leave me with the minimum amounts of uncertainty possible. And I want to feel as much agency as possible. I want to feel like, I mean, I want to feel like my actions have an amazing effect, and I am the protagonist of this universe. And all my friends are here along for the ride, sure, but and are protagonists in their own story. But I know, do you know what I mean? Like, but then that's at odds with me wanting to have surprise in the game, because this certainty, this feeling of agency, that's at odds with the notion of surprise. And in surprise, you can bring it back in with a random deal of cards or with some dice, but then that's got its own problems. And so, like everything, it's all about the balance. It's all about, I mean, I like a little bit of salt in my dishes, but I don't want too much. I would like a bit of pickled chili here, but you know, more than depends on the pickled chili in question. Like, I'll put maybe 3 spoons, 4 spoons, and then I'll stop. Yeah, but yeah. What are my frustrations with some of my current tabletop games? Wow, that's a big question. Yeah, I don't even know how to approach that. Some of my, what are some of my current? Not being able to mind meld my information to other people, having to get them up to speed. That's kind of frustrating. I wish that we could be more of a hive mind. That would be nice. Um, I think that, yeah, the physical space they take up, if games were like, um, you know, literally the size of a tiny bit of paper, like maybe they have to, like, literally, if it was that size and then it's expanded into a thing, that would be pretty cool. But like the physical size they take up, it's like all of the costs. What costs do games have? I mean, Michael Heron talked about this a while ago and opened my eyes to the fact that yes, there's financial costs, there's a time cost to playing, there's the intellectual cost to energy to learn the game, but there's also the cost of the social capital of getting people involved and saying, hey, can you? And that leads into the final question of what's your challenges? Yeah, it's the getting people together, frankly, and um, finding alignment in purpose. And board games are a lovely way to bring alignments. Like you say, this is what we're playing, and then once everyone's agreed, you agree to the rules, and the rules tell you what kind of experience you're going to have. The rules tell you that you're going to be contorting, or you're going to be walking around the room, or you're going to be drawing and coloring in, or you're going to be complimenting each other, or maybe you're going to be doing strategic thought in a game that's a little bit more traditional, like chess or um, something by Victor Lacerda. I don't know, Food Chain Magnet. But yes, it's about the strategic thought, but games can be so much more. And what I really want from games is games that do new things. I mean, in these questions, you've not asked me what would I like to see from games that I don't already see. And again, I'm looking at this survey and I'm thinking, why are you answering it? Like, this seems to be you trying to understand people, which is great. I mean, that's always lovely, but why should I spend the time to, like, why do I trust that my time spent answering the survey is going to result in better stuff? I don't want you to even ask a whole bunch of people and do a market focused game. Frankly, I think that's that way. Okay, sure, you get good games that might sell a lot, but that, hmm, I I find the concept personally of, sorry, Eric, like Eric Lang just announced a Mass Effect board game, and I find the idea of hand-to-hand wombat, dexterity matched with social deduction, such an innovative, exciting thing that most people wouldn't have thought, hey, I want that. And like, it takes you out of your comfort zone. It introduces you to new experiences. And I think that's what I really want from a game. I want the game to make me do things or think things that I otherwise wouldn't have done or thought. Not things that offend anyone, just working out puzzles. Maybe I'm dancing. I mean, sometimes I make a game just to get myself to do stuff. Sometimes I tell myself, okay, I'm going to do these drawings and going to spend no more than 20 minutes, and I'm going to spend an hour, like whatever it is. And like, just having a time limit and an expectation of what the goal is, then you kind of got yourself a game. And sometimes turning productivity into, like, that can get you to do stuff. When it's a game that you're playing for pleasure, I don't want to be doing the same old stuff that I do in real life. I want to be doing brand new things. Anyway, I don't want someone to be thinking, hey, this is a cool, like, okay, Mass Effect is a cool IP. I'm sure it's going to be a brilliant game. I think if you're interested, check it out. And congratulations, Calvin Wong-Loon and Eric Lang, for making what I'm sure will be a brilliant game. But for me, I want something that pushes me out there even more. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think that's my conclusion. That's a good place to stop. Sliver says, I want a game which brings out emotion in me, whether that's from thinking I'm clever, doing something outrageously lucky, making everyone laugh, doesn't matter. I just want something which brings around positive emotion for the table. For me, it doesn't even need to be positive. I have enjoyed holding on, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr, and I played games which are about negative emotions and exploring them, especially in the LARP space. I mean, in the LARP space, you explore themes of betrayal and loss and isolation, struggling to learn a new language. You learn all of this as experiences, and then you feel it so much because it's part of you, because you are playing the character. And okay, that's not a board game, but I feel like board games can do so much more. I feel like board games can be serious. I feel like board games can be frivolous. I think that both are vital and part of the tapestry of life. I think that I need media that makes me sometimes feel good when reality seems hopeless. I need stuff that reminds me of the problems in reality when I get too complacent. I want things that help me practice real life skills, which is why I'm so blimmin' proud of the game about drawing creatures complements to drawings and complementing the complements. And yeah, I want games that do new stuff. I want games that, yeah, like I said before, I want the feeling of agency. I want the clarity. I want the surprises, but I want to feel something new. Yeah, but I'm a hobbyist board gamer. I've played thousands of games, possibly tens of thousands. I don't know. But yeah, as someone who's played so many games, I'm going to seek out novelty more than someone who hasn't, who will play Carcassonne or Ticket to Ride, and they might be thinking, "Wow, this is totally unlike anything I've ever played before." But for now, unless anyone has any quick questions, I am going to skedaddle. These Busy Bangkok bladders are deliberately super short and just at any time. So thank you so much, Slivers, for joining in on Twitch and saying hello. Everyone on Twitter, I mean, I guess leave a message and I'll reply to you. But I'll swear, like, yeah, leave messages and I'll reply. Thank you so much. It is, for the record, 8:42 here in Bangkok. Because I've not shown you much of Bangkok, so let me actually show you. Given that this is not my permanent address, I'm happy to show you the outside. Look at all the, what's the word I'm looking for? Air conditioning units, and then the motorcycles, and it's a lovely temperature right now. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a lovely temperature right now. It's probably like 28 degrees. It's like really perfect. And let's see the other side. I'm at the bottom of a soy, and yeah, I need to travel for like just a few minutes. And this is Bangkok. This is me, and I like games. I hope you have fun with whatever you're doing yourself. And for now, all I'm going to say is bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. This is a heart, by the way. This is how people do hearts, I think, in Korea. Although some people in Thailand don't like it. Some people in Thailand like this, which means, I think it's like, I love you. But bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for listening along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. Now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. Do you like games? Bye, 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 bye. What are some of their names? Bye, 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 bye. But I won't have time to respond. Bye, 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 because I'm going to go at the end of this song. Bye, bye, everyone. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, bye, Slivers.